Hello, hi friends. Welcome to the Stitch Cræft Podcast. My name is Leah. I live in St. John's, Newfoundland, and I like to chat on here about knitting and other various crafts that I like to do, sewing, sometimes weaving, things like that. I haven't made a video in a few weeks. I had hoped to start making them more regularly, but time goes by very quickly. Also, I had a really bad cold, and I apologize in advance. There won't really be much of an intro to this video because it has been raining where I live for, I think it's like 35 days, 36 days now. I don't know the exact number, but it's over a month we have had of rain, and it's been very sad. I usually like to do a little video, little clips of being outdoors and walking and hiking, and yeah, it just haven't really been able to get out very much, and that's a bummer. But it's okay, because I always find November is just kind of like a period of time of darkness. There's not very much light. The sun goes down here like 4:30, and yeah, it's just a time to really dig into things that you enjoy doing at home in the dark, like knitting, crafting, snuggling. So yeah, that's what's up here. I have a couple of things to show you today, not a whole lot, because like I said, I wasn't feeling well, so I didn't get a whole lot of knitting done. But I do have one finished object that I think I chatted about last time I wanted to do, and actually I cast it on and I knit it so quickly. I didn't even take any like photos or videos of the making process because I just, like I said, wasn't feeling well. So yeah, I haven't even posted on Instagram yet or anything like that. It's pretty funny. It just happened. And the funnier thing is that this is my second time knitting this sweater, and the first time I knit it, which I didn't 100% finish, I still have like half a sleeve left to do, and I think the neckband. But the last time I knit it, I was also sick. So I don't know, there's something about this pattern and comfort. It's not like overly complicated. And I didn't even do it on purpose. I just this is what I wanted to make, and then I just happened to get sick, and I was like, this is funny. I don't know what's going on here with this particular item that I just knit it whenever I have some sort of terrible cold. So yeah, I have three finished objects. The first one is what I'm wearing, so I'll chat about that now. This is the Hinterland dress by Liberated, and I sewed it in black linen. I did the no button placket version because almost all of my sewn clothes have a button placket because I was breastfeeding my daughter for 3 years. And now when I make clothes, I'm like, oh, I don't have to have buttons anymore. And then anyway, so I did the no button placket, and I think it fits so cute. I put the ties, and I did the 3/4 length sleeve. I also changed, which I can't really show you here, maybe I'll try to do a video to put in. Instead of using the Hinterland skirt part, which is just basically they're like kind of rectangles that you can put pockets in, and this does also have pockets. Instead of using that skirt, I took another pattern that I have of theirs, which is the gypsum skirt, and the skirt has more of an A-line shape. So I took the bottom of the gypsum skirt and I used that instead, so that it would have more of like a flowy bottom, more like a Sunday floor kind of style. and it's a little bit longer. I think the Hinterland usually hits like just below the knee or just above the knee. I think there's more than one option. I wanted something a little longer and a little more flowy, and yeah, it worked out perfectly. I love the Hinterland dress pattern because the bodice is, it comes up pretty high. So, you know, you've only got like this much bodice, and I really like where this hits on my body. And it's really customizable. There's so many different options. Even just in the pattern, it tells you how to do it without a placket. You can also do a full placket down the front. And there are a couple of different sleeve options, even like a sleeveless option. So really, like, you can make this dress 100 times in different ways, and it will look different every time. So I think it's just a really lovely pattern, and it's pretty beginner friendly. It doesn't take too long to whip up, and it's super cozy. I really love it. I would like to make another version that's maybe just like over my knee, and I'd like to kind of make the neckline a little closer and somehow put in like a Peter Pan collar, but I don't know how to do that. So that's something that I'm gonna have to kind of try to figure out. But I love that Peter Pan collar. I think it is so sweet. So yeah, if you guys, any sewists out there, have any recommendations on adding a Peter Pan collar, if you've done that to the Hinterland dress or another dress, I would love to hear how you've done that. There's no, what's that called in this pattern, like gusset, or you know, the little flap that kind of goes in. I'm blanking on what that's called right now. So I think if it did, it would probably be easier to do that, but I'm not sure. Anyway, if you know, let me know. I'm also thinking about like knitting a few collars that I can just kind of like tie and wear over my dresses. I've seen a few of those, and they're really, really cute. So those are kind of all the hacks. I sewed it on my sewing machine, and I did French seams inside for the whole dress. So all of the insides are enclosed, and hopefully that helps with lasting longer. I do like to sew the garments by hand, but lately I just haven't felt inspired to do that. Yeah, so that's everything about this. Another thing I would like to do with this dress that I've been thinking about is kind of adding along the collar and maybe along the hems of the sleeves some sort of little embroidered detail, just like an edging detail, little like lines up and down or something along those lines. But I don't feel confident with embroidery enough to do that without maybe seeing some sort of tutorial. So if you guys know of any tutorials for something like that, let me know. I think it would be really cute in like red or maybe a cream sort of thing. Really jazz the dress up and make it really like super unique. So that is my Hinterland dress. I love it very much. And next finished object I have is the Nordiska by Boyland or Caitlin Hunter. I love, 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 love this jumper. I find with her patterns a lot of the time when I knit them, they end up being like a little bit too cropped. So this one, I knit a little bit longer. After I separated body and sleeve, you're supposed to knit a little bit. And I knit, I think, maybe an extra ½ inch or something. And then after I blocked it and tried it on, I feel like it's a little bit longer than what I wanted. I wanted it more to wear over dresses. And I feel like it's a tiny bit too long to wear over dresses, but it still looks really nice. So I'm thinking I may kind of go in with a couple of lifelines and cut and bring it up, you know, even just an inch would be the perfect length. But I don't know, I've never done anything like that before. I know how to do it in theory, but I feel really nervous about it. So we'll see. yeah, this is the first time I've ever knit a V-neck sweater. You can probably very barely see that it's a V-neck. It's like, it's not a low V, which I really like. And it's, the sleeves are like these little balloon 3/4 length. I love the colors. I knit this in Rama Garn, which is a sport weight, but I chose to, yeah, the pattern calls for a fingering weight, and I wanted to knit it a bit heftier, and that's probably why it ended up being longer than I had expected. This is just a really nice weight for the temperature where I live. And that's, I also just, you know, I love Rama Garn and the Fino, and I had enough and I had the colors that I wanted, so I just thought I would go for it. Yeah, it's really, really cute. I'll try it on for you. Goes really well with this dress too, because the dress is also 3/4 length. I think it's perfect. It's very, very cozy. And I don't know, now looking at it in the camera, I don't really feel like it's too long. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I didn't give it enough of a chance. Yeah, so the pattern, the colorwork pattern, it's a really good one. The majority, like almost all of it, I think there are only a couple of portions where you have to actually like catch or float. The majority is like no catching, which is my favorite. I prefer to not have to catch floats very often if I don't have to. So it's a very enjoyable knit. I believe I was saying in the last episode that I'm a bit slower with color work because I have to drop and then pick up a color, drop and pick up a color. And when I started knitting this one, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just try to do the continental thing from the start. And so I held, you know, my main color in my right hand and my contrast color in my left hand. And at first it felt really awkward and fiddly and uncomfortable. And I was really worried that my gauge, my tension was gonna be really off. But it wasn't. It turned out really beautifully. That's like the magic of being able to block your work. Really, it helps. But even before blocking, I didn't really feel like the tension was very different from one side to the other. So I was really excited to kind of quietly work on that new to me technique. It's always fun when you're knitting, you know, often you just kind of stick. After a while, you just kind of stick with the things you know. So I was really happy to just, you know, say to myself, just learn this extra new thing because it will make the process faster and easier. And by the end of it, I felt really confident doing it double-handed. My throat and chest are still a little bit sick. So yeah, that's the Nordiska. I don't think I made really any dramatic changes. I did go up a needle size for the colorwork portion. When I knit it before, I didn't do that, and you could tell that there was like obvious kind of cinching, and I really didn't want that. I wanted the body to be pretty boxy. And then I wanted the balloon sleeves to be really balloony. So I did go ahead and do that, and I think that was the best choice. It turned out really perfect. Yeah, it's so good. This has been on my to knit list for such a long time. It was like one of the patterns that I found a long time ago that inspired me to want to knit garments, and actually that's been a bit of a trend this year. There's a few things that I had on my list for such a long time, and this year I finally went ahead and did them. It was this one, and the no frills cardigan was also on my list for a very long time. Sometimes I feel like we get caught up in, you know, all the new patterns coming out, and there's so many good ones, so many beautiful new patterns coming out all the time, and you just, you know, you add them to your list, I want to knit this, and sometimes one inspires you so dramatically that you have to cast it on right away, and then so many get like pushed to the back burner. But yeah, I'm really excited to have a few garments in my wardrobe now that I wanted for such a long time. And yeah, I've been really enjoying color work lately. Before I knit this one, I knit the obsidian, which was in my last video. And yeah, I love knitting color work. It's so much fun. You know, you can really customize it, use the colors that you want. In this one I used the just black, and then this is the light heather beige, and then the color, I don't remember what this color is called, but it's like a mustardy, yellowy, you know, it's one of my favorites. If I'm gonna go for color, this is the color I'm gonna go for. Yeah, so I'm very, very happy about my 2 finished objects. I've been wearing them pretty non-stop. The dress, it just goes with everything. I can wear so many things over it and under it that it's like a staple, you know, like you can wear it almost every day and it still can look like a different outfit because you can wear different things with it. And yeah, I've really been in the mood for dresses lately. I have plenty of skirts, but dresses are just, they're like ultimate comfort. You know, there's nothing around your waist at all. And, you know, you can really like put a bunch of stuff under it to stay warm. Long sleeve shirts and leggings and tights and big socks. And yeah, so I've been really happy with my choices in making for my wardrobe these past few months. I feel very much like they're, you know, they're my thing, and I'm so happy about them. I also finished these socks, and I don't know if I showed them in the last video, but they're just, you know, kind of a vanilla sock pattern from Summerlee Knits, from her book. And I just did a couple of stripes at the top, kind of like your classic stripe, you know, at the top, but in black, so that it kind of goes with everything that I wear. And they're super nice and warm and cozy, and they make my feet really happy. And yeah, I did block them, and I put them like on sock blockers with the intention of showing them off all neat and new, and take photos. And I didn't do any of those things. I just broke down and started wearing them instead. So, I mean, whatever, they're just socks, so who cares? Yeah, that's all I have for finished objects. I have a couple of projects that I'm working on. I recently finished these for my toddler for Christmas. One doesn't have the ends woven in yet, so I made her these cute little candy cane socks. I also used a pattern by Summerlee Knits from her book, but it's like the ribbed sock pattern. I thought they would stay on her feet better and probably last a little bit longer with her growing. I love knitting tiny socks. I've always loved knitting little tiny socks. They just make me so happy. And these are like, they were pretty quick to whip up, so they're a really great little thing I can give her for Christmas. Here's the other one with all of the ends not woven in. It's like a crazy candy cane yarn party, but they're done. So I just need to do that one evening before Christmas. And then of course, my older daughter, Aura, who's 9, she wants a pair too, even though I'm already knitting her something for Christmas. She's like, yeah, but I want candy cane socks too. So I'll have to knit those, knit another pair. It's always good to have a pair of socks on the needles because you can knit them really quickly. The other day I was at Chapters shopping for some books for Christmas. I always give a book to all the kids for Christmas. And of course, you know, there's like a kids section there where my little girl was just kind of like running around crazy looking at all the toys. So I just pulled out my tiny sock knitting and was knitting, walking around chapters, and it was a very lovely time, especially since, like I said, it's been raining so much that we can't even go outside. Surprisingly, it's pretty nice out today, but it was raining earlier. Maybe I will be able to get outside at some point. Oh, I knit these with the Ramagarn. They're like fingering weight, it has a high twist. It's good for natural socks. That's what I also knit these socks with. I've pretty much exclusively been using this to knit my socks lately, and this yarn has held up for natural socks a lot better than a lot of other natural sock yarns that I have used. And I'm pretty hard on my socks, like I wear them daily in boots, walking around. I live downtown, so I walk a lot to various places, coffee shops and friends' houses and things like that. So yeah. And my new sweater matches my favorite project bag, which makes me very happy. In this bag I have my Millie cardigan, which last episode I said I was gonna put it away till spring, because I wasn't very motivated to knit it just because of like the season. And when I finished my Nordiska, I changed my mind and I picked it back up again, and I've really been enjoying knitting it. So it would be really fun to have this finished for Christmas, because I feel like it would be so nice to wear with a dress. I think that I will do the long sleeve version. I have so many short sleeve things in my collection of knitted garments, and there's really such a short window of time where I live to be able to wear stuff like that. So I will get a lot more wear out of it if I make it long sleeve. So this is the Millie cardigan. It has so many incredibly beautiful, wonderful details. I'm knitting it with Knitting for Olive Merino and Mohair Held Together, the cream color. So it's got these like cables, different lace patterns. And I've shown it before, but I've gotten, you know, a fair bit farther now. I think I only have one, like I have another half a pattern repeat to finish, and then the ribbing, which seems like this will be really small, but it is supposed to be pretty cropped, and the ribbing on the sweater is actually pretty long, and then it has like a wavy bottom, just, you know, another just super sweet detail. So this is a really light thing for me, that I wouldn't normally wear something this light, but I think it's going to look really pretty with like a black t-shirt or tank top underneath it, or even over my black linen dress. And that'll really kind of like bring out the lace. I wanted to be able to really see the lace pattern underneath. So I think the black under like the contrast will look really beautiful. So yeah, not much else to say about that. It's in progress and it's going really well. This is by Irene. Her patterns are just, they're whimsical. They're so magical and beautiful and light and dainty and flowy and airy. And I'm just really in love with them. I have a few others of her on my list of 2 makes. One I already knit, like I said, and it was too small, so I gave it to my daughter, but I really, really want to knit it again. And I don't have any like kind of just mohair tops in my wardrobe, and I've really been liking that look. I will knit that one soon. Another work in progress I also showed you last time, but I have gotten a little bit farther. There's still not a lot to see. It has cat hair all over it, of course. This wool, I feel like, holds on to cat hair a lot. And we have a black cat, which is awesome. Our kitten, she's getting bigger. But we also have an orange and white cat, so his fur kind of clashes with my my wardrobe. So yeah, this is the Dandelion skirt by Petit knit, and it's gotten a bit farther. It's a pretty slow knit because it's I'm knitting it with fingering weight. I'm using a cone of the Holst Super Soft, and every like 5 rows you do like an increase row, so it gets bigger and bigger, which makes it slower and slower. Hopefully I can get this done by Christmas. It's got this really cute like dandelion pattern on it. And yeah, I think it's gonna be super sweet on her. My daughter's pretty petite, so I don't know, I might not even have to knit it as long as it says in the pattern, because she wants to wear it kind of just like a short little thing over a pair of leggings. And yeah, that pattern is really straightforward. There's not much to say about it. Hopefully I can get it done. So that's it. Those are my finished objects and my works in progress. I don't know what I feel like casting on next. I feel very like inspired and uninspired at the same time. I have some ideas of things that I want, but I don't have the yarn for them that I would like. And I don't think I'll be doing any yarn acquiring until after Christmas. So I don't know. I think at this point it'll just be kind of finishing up Christmas gifts and doing some smaller things. My son, who just turned 14, he only yesterday finally put in his order for something knitted for Christmas, where I asked him like, you know, more than a month ago if he would want anything, and he was like, I don't think I need anything. And then yesterday he was like, actually, can I have a pair of mittens? And I was like, oh, yes. Because you have to, right? You can't say no. So I definitely have enough projects to keep me occupied, but they're not like super exciting, inspiring projects. I have a need for them to be like really, I want to do them in order to feel the need to knit a lot. I also have, I just recently received in the mail yesterday some more patterns that I ordered. So I bought the pattern online, and then I didn't want to print them, so I got them printed at Spool and Spindle Print Shop, which is in Canada. And right now we're having, our postal system is on strike right before Christmas, which is inconvenient timing. I'm sure that their strike is perfectly valid, and I think, you know, all workers deserve good pay, but it's been kind of tough just for shipping, especially where I live. The shopping, like, you know, there's not a lot here to shop for, you know, unless you're Walmart shopping. We do have some really cute shops downtown to shop at, but, you know, sadly with the economy, a lot of them are closing, and there's just less and less options for shopping. So, you know, a lot of the time, if you do want something different or unique or all natural or anything like that, you have to ship. So anyway, Spool and Spindle, they do usually ship with Canada Post, but when the strike happened, they found a different courier who was able to ship, and they shipped fast. Like, I ordered, I think, and I ordered one day, and then my stuff showed up like 3 days later. And that might not sound crazy to people that live in different parts of the world who can get like 1 day shipping, but when you live on an island in Canada, usually it's like 2 to 5 weeks before you actually get anything, even if it's from Canada. So yeah, so that showed up really fast, and I'm really excited. So I ordered the pattern for the Bestie bag, which is a Blackbird's Fabrics pattern, I believe. So yeah, I'm gonna make Bestie bags for all the girls in my family. So I need to make five Bestie bags. I have the zippers already, I have interfacing, I have fabric. I think I will need to get some extra fabric, even just for like linings, but I do have a fair amount of scrap fabric, so I definitely have to do a small fabric shopping spree. Luckily we do have a really nice fabric shop here in town called East Coast Quilt Company, and they have so many different fabrics. It used to mostly be cottons for quilting, but recently they've started getting more and more in for garment making, and I'm so thankful and appreciative of that. So I can buy that locally, which is great. So yeah, that will also keep me very busy. So I definitely have enough projects to last me till the end of the year. And I am really excited to make the bestie bags. I've wanted to make them. They come in like 3 different sizes. So there's like a large and a small, and then there's like a mini bestie. So I'm gonna make the girls all the like small version, and I'm gonna make the baby the mini version. And I think that's gonna be really cute. They've already put in their color order, what color they would like. So yeah, I'm excited to make those, and I'll definitely show them off here when they're all done. That's it, that's all I have. That's a lot, that's way too much to have to finish. Also, my family celebrates Christmas on the day of the winter solstice, which is the 21st, which means I have like 4 less days than everybody else to finish all of my gift making. But I love it. I really love making homemade gifts for my family and for friends for holidays. I'm also going to make some hand-dipped beeswax candles for like friends and family that, you know, aren't getting like a really big gift, but just like little things to give out for people. I have a bunch of beeswax and I really want to make that. So I'm really excited to do a project that's not really, you know, garment making related. I also have some other kind of Christmassy things that I would like to make. So hopefully I'll be able to get lots of documentation of those things, and I'll be feeling well enough to do all of that, and I'll have more to show here. Yeah, so last episode I did a small little section at the end where I talk about kind of like witchy weird fantasy books that I like to read. And I was finishing this one, A Sorceress Comes to Call, and it was pretty good. It was kind of slow for the majority of it, and in the end it got weird. Like, it got really weird. The kind of like creature, but anyway, I'm not gonna do any spoilers, but it was weird. And you know, it was good. It was good ending. I wouldn't read it twice, but it was fine, like, you know, read before bed kind of read that you don't really have to have a whole lot of paying attention to. So yeah, that one's done. It was pretty okay. And then I said I had I was gonna read Slewfoot, and I showed this book in my last episode, the pictures and the art and stuff that's in here, and I loved this book. I ate it up. I read it so quickly. It's a really wonderful story. I really loved the characters, the character development, the character arcs. Yeah, it ended up being a really enjoyable book. It was weird and creepy, but also like whimsical, magical. It got pretty much everything that I hoped it would be. So if you're looking for a good kind of creepy, horror-esque, not too scary, pretty magical book, you know, it's got a lot, it really like witch trials, you know, sort of vibes. Yeah, it's good. I would definitely recommend. So Brom, the author of this book, also has another book called Krampus, which I think I'm going to have a credit on my Audible account, and I think I'm going to get the audiobook version so that I have something to listen to while, you know, crafting and sewing. I really like having an audiobook to read, to listen to when I'm sewing, especially because, you know, you can't even like really watch a podcast or anything like that. Sometimes I'll throw on a show that I've like watched before so I don't have to pay much attention. But, you know, audiobooks are always a really good idea because they're like really in your head, and, you know, the sound of the sewing machine doesn't really bother you. It really helps me like get in the groove. So I was thinking that would be a really good one for getting in the Christmas spirit, or at least my version of the Christmas spirit. So I just finished that one, and then now I'm reading, I picked this one up. I was reading this actually before I even started Slewfoot, but I was bored by it, so I put it down to read something else for a little while. And I don't have any other books in my library right now that I haven't already read, so I just started reading this one again. It's called The Atlas 6, and by Olive Blake. And it's got really, I love when they put stuff like this on the cover of books. It just makes them so much prettier. So yeah, The Atlas 6, I know it's a pretty popular book. There's more than one. I think there are 2 others, and it's basically about, you know, these people who have different sort of magical or like telepathic sort of abilities, and they get headhunted by this like headmaster guy called Atlas, and they all have to get like initiated into this organization that is like, you know, based around studying different magic, and they live in this place all together, this big old house that has like a humongous library, and yeah, they just study and study, and there's like lots of like interpersonal dramas between the like 6 people that are there. And yeah, so it's like a very character developy sort of book. Each like chapter is kind of like from one person's perspective, so like each of the 6 characters' perspective, and it kind of goes through like what they're doing and going through and talking to people about, and then it goes to the next person and the next person. So you really get like an inner, you know, you get like in their head, and you know what they're thinking and stuff. And obviously there's some sort of like mystery of like why they're really there and what they have to do. And yeah, I think there's going to be some sort of like crazy stuff happening pretty soon, although I'm like almost at the end of the book, and although some kind of wild things have happened, again, it's a bit slow for me, but it's not terrible. I don't know, it's something to read, and that's just my honest kind of opinion and review on that book. That's it. That's all I have to talk about today. I really appreciate you guys being here, and I hope you're doing well, and I hope you're not stressing out about the Christmas holiday time, because, you know, it should just be chill. It's just about loving each other. And yeah, if you want to find me on Instagram, or I think that's all I have. The link will be down below. All the patterns and stuff will be down below. And yeah, I really appreciate you guys, and I hope you're having a good time. Thanks. Bye.